Hi everyone, welcome to another journey, and today we are joining an international speaker, entrepreneur, the artist, philanthropist and mother of two kids, as well as being a co-founder of Mindvalley, a leading publisher in the personal growth industry. This guest is dedicated to the last 17 years of her career from teachers like Michael Beckwith, Proctor, Nichols and many more. And we're going to talk about a book which is called Becoming Flawesome. Welcome to the journey.
Thank you, David, for welcoming me, and thank you for having me on your show.
No, I know I can say your first part of your name, which is Kristina, and then how do you pronounce the second part without me sounding rude?
Yeah, it's Mand-Lakhiani, and it's a little complicated because it's half Estonian and half Indian.
I like it because obviously cultures with surnames, it's like my surname, it comes from Ireland, but I'm not Irish.
Ah. Well,
Anyways,
I am Estonian, I'm not Indian.
that's okay. So, first of all, we'd like to talk about obviously 17 years in the personal transformation industry. How did you becoming involved in the transformation industry?
Yeah, it was a little bit of an accident because I was born in Soviet Union, so transformation and personal growth were not exactly the topics that we had much value about. I was 25 when I got married with my then husband Vishen, and he's the guy who's passionate about personal growth and transformation. The circumstances were such that I had left my successful career back in Estonia and moved in with Vishen in New York after we got married. And since I was rediscovering myself anew and he was just starting Mindvalley, I accidentally ended up in that industry because it wasn't my plan from my education or from my childhood or from any kind of design. But as it sometimes happens with your destiny, you stumble upon it accidentally and then you suddenly think, how could I have planned anything else but that?
I understand that. So, it says you're an author of A Transformational Quest, 7 Days to Happiness and Live by Your Own Rules. Obviously, we'll talk about your book, which is coming out very soon, but at the time of this recording, it is, and I don't worry about that, but 7 Days to Happiness and Live by Your Own Rules. Can you explain the meaning behind that?
These are two quests, and a quest is what we call online educational programs in Mindvalley. We call them quests, but in essence, it's like an online class with a teacher and it's a course to solve a certain problem. So the 7 Days to Happiness is based on my research and my talks on the topic of happiness. It's a shorter kind of program, just to break into the idea of happiness as a trainable skill. And Live by Own Rules is a course which I had recorded a while back, and it was probably the beginning of my journey, which led finally to this book, Becoming Flawesome. And in that quest, it was a mixture of different things. You know, I've been in personal growth for 20 years now, and of course I've absorbed a lot of teachings, and I wanted to come up with a quest which was universal and all-encompassing. But of course, that was from my point of view. There were parts which were purely my own creation. That's how the whole topic about happiness started. There were some parts which I have learned from other teachers, but it's still up. And in fact, today, one of my students said that she had made quite a few discoveries thanks to that quest. So I'm grateful it is there.
Yeah, it sounds really amazing. And it says in your bio about being recognized as one of the top 10 influential people online making a difference in the world today. Now, that's some achievement.
Well, yeah, you know, there are a lot of awards walking around. So when I was given that award, I was feeling very proud, and it ended up in my bio. And I do believe that because the point of this award was that there's so much happening in the public eye. Well, we can take social media, for example, and a lot of that is well, without disrespecting anyone, but a lot of that is noise. Uh, And I guess what I do outwardly has a meaning, at least for me, and I hope that I don't add to the noise. In fact, when it comes to the book, there are, in our industry, in personal growth, I think there are millions of books published every year. If I might be a little bit off with the number, but I heard something like 13 million. That's a lot of information. And yeah, I think it is important to remember that whatever we are doing, we want to make a difference, or to make some kind of change happen.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what that award was about, that
Mm.
you share with some meaning. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you said about being noise in social media. I always class social media, and I took a back seat on some social medias now, because I always class it as like listening to white noise, what you used to listen to on the TV when you used to hear the white noise. So
Yeah, actually, you reminded me when I was a kid, I would come back home and switch on the TV, not because I wanted to watch it, but it was good, reassuring to hear the voice of somebody in the background.
yeah, but so the white noise of just hearing the static, it was just, that's how I associate social media. It's like a good thing, but at the same time, it's a bad thing. So to compensate, I just think of the white noise and just class it as that. Anyway, so becoming Flawesome, it says in your book, Becoming Flawesome, it talks about embracing our flaws to live our most authentic lives. And you share your notes on how you lost yourself and how you decided to reclaim your authenticity. Was that easy?
You know, in the book, it's an intention, right? When people pick up the book, they probably ask that as a conscious question, or at least they are asked that question and they're conscious about that intention. In my personal life, I think it was more the consequence of what I was doing. And then, you know how sometimes we do things and then in the back, in the hindsight, you suddenly realize, oh, that's what happened. So my personal journey was probably more more the wisdom in the hindsight. But in the book, I of course try and hope to help people to go through that journey consciously and with intention, and not in the hindsight. Now, I have to say that it is not a book about my personal journey at all. It is inspired by my personal experience, of course, like every book is, I think, is inspired by people's personal experiences. It is the very beginning, but the journey is for every reader to take, because it's their personal journey. I can share ideas and exercises and questions to ask and reflection points and things like that. But transformation is something that only the person can create or help along their own transformation.
Because it says about authenticity and honesty is a binary. They are either there or they're not. There's no in between. So that is a good way of putting it, because it's either one or the other, or there's no middle.
Well, on one side, I think it's something which I would like to see, but I have lived for 40 years. That's the breaking point, which I actually refer to quite a lot in my book. When I was mostly authentic, mostly, but then there was this 5% of compromising your values and what you are, of selling a little bit of your soul for the sake of, let's say, success or or fame or something like that. And those little compromises, they seem like they're not a big deal when you look at it in percentage points, but when it comes to your living experience, even this 5% of being inauthentic or not being honest with yourself, or pleasing someone despite your own well-being, these 5% can ruin everything. That's I think the point of me saying that they are binary. We should be quite protective about these things, but in this world we survive in a lot of gray areas, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, reality is like that.
And it then goes on to saying about each chapter addresses a different issue that you, as a reader, may face, ranging from acknowledging and accepting your feelings and the pressure to be perfect to finally breaking free from the rut. So I assume it's about making you understand yourself more as a person.
Yes, definitely. It's definitely aiming to help the reader to learn to hear themselves again, and to explain why it might sound like it's strange. I mean, we we see ourselves in the mirror every morning, and occasionally we get a chance to stay on our own and to stay with our own thoughts. But what happens is that we get busy. Our society is very passionate about keeping busy, about being productive, about being efficient. So contemporary people have hard times to slow down. So I'm not talking about health benefits or emotional health benefits in slowing down and not being so overwhelmed. I'm talking about your relationship with yourself. So because we're in this constant rut, we tend to not have enough time to focus on every single aspect of our being, and we are all multifaceted. We all have a lot of different social roles that we play, and according to social roles theory, we mostly prioritize social roles which are more valued by the society. So for example, if you're a mother and an entrepreneur, you're tempted to prioritize entrepreneurship over your motherhood or parenthood, for that matter, because I think fathers probably struggle with that even more. Or let's say if you are a celebrity, a social influencer, and I don't know, a child, or like somebody's child or a parent or a friend, the role which is more prioritized by society is the celebrity, obviously, or the influencer or the marketer, whatever professional. And we get so stuck in those roles which are highly prioritized by the society or highly valued by the society that we are forgetting the other aspects of our own being, which are still important, are always important, but we don't have time for them. We don't have focus for them. And there's nothing wrong in selectively choosing one or another social role in different settings. What's the problem is that when we forget the human behind all those masks and social roles, then naturally we stop hearing that human, we stop hearing their needs. And when we have a contradictory situation where, for example, your responsibilities are contradicting with your mental well-being,
Yeah, so
very often we disregard because that society expects us to be professional, to be unemotional, to be efficient, and that's what we do.
so
Our-
finally, Kristina, because I know I'm trying to watch the time. I don't know what it says on your side, but on my side, I
Yes,
know.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yes, we can go on.
But the argument is, and I want people to understand this, everyone has a vision for their, to say to people for the future. What would you say to people looking for themselves, for their future? What would you say to inspire them?
Um, I think that the journey back to oneself is a little bit of a scary journey, because we are forgetting who we are, and sometimes we are worried that what if I become truly honest with myself, completely honest, 100%, not 95%. What if what I discover is going to be something that I can't accept? The perfectionism, the obsession with being being better, with constantly becoming better. What if what I discover is something that I can't accept about myself? What if that means that I will not be able to love myself? That's a scary realization. Another thing that people are very often afraid of when they embark on that journey is that their discoveries might push them to change something about their life, and we're so comfortable in the familiar. But what I want to put in your heart is that the easiest and the most enjoyable and the most meaningful way to live this life is to stick to what you are, to acknowledge what you are, to be friends with every single aspect of you, even the aspects which are hard and complicated, and to find strength in the things that maybe right now, before you know them, you're ashamed of or afraid of. Because wasting time on trying to be something which the society wants you to be, or you think the society wants you to be, is like taking away time from things that matter, time and effort.
And finally, I believe your book will be on most books sites like Amazon and Barnes and Noble and places like that.
It will be not just on the websites, it's going to be on the shelves of Barnes and Nobles and other big shops in US, bookshops in US. It will definitely be available online because I have a huge audience outside US, so we'll be selling it on our websites as well. Of course, you can buy it probably from the Amazon, not probably, quite likely, but I would encourage people to come to my own site because, of course, I will give one of my newest programs together with a book, which is not the case.
And what is your website, quickly?
Yeah, it's kristinamand.com/book. It's easy if you know how to spell my name, but my name is not easy to spell.
And I'll make sure it is in the description, because I'm going to call this title of the podcast Flawesome, and then with your name, so people can see it in the description as well.
Yes,
Kristina, thank you for talking about your book today.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share. It's a pleasure.
No, thank you.
That was The Journey, hosted by Wise Words Imaging, hosted by David Hackett. Be sure to like, subscribe and listen to another journey coming soon.